Hello, welcome to lesson 8 in Spiral 2, and today we're looking at unit rates and rates of change. So I want you to be able to demonstrate an understanding of what unit rate is and that rates of change are the same, okay? So basically what I'm saying is there's multiple ways to write rates of change or unit rate, and they mean essentially the same thing. So again, it looks a little busy here, but first one is unit rate. So we're over here. A unit rate is a comparison between two things. So same as a ratio, but the difference is you're comparing it to one of the second thing. So kilometers per 1 hour. So when you're driving in the car with family, an example would be 80 kilometers per hour. So they don't put the 1 in on the signs. They leave it out because it's assumed. So it's 80 kilometers per hour. All right. Oops. Another example is cost per 1 milliliter of pop. So if you look in the grocery store on the price tag, it will tell you that it is, say, $0.01 per milliliter. Not milliliter, so that's a unit rate. Unit rate means cost per one thing, or the amount per one thing. How many goals do you average? You average 2 goals per game, per one game. So those are all examples of unit rate. Okay, so a unit rate can be expressed in 3 different ways. So using words, all right. So 80 kilometers per hour. So 80 kilometers per hour. And anytime you use the word per, that is your key word that you are dealing with a unit rate. So if you use the word per, you know you're dealing with a unit rate. Now, I don't know what I was thinking here, so let's get rid of, that's really the third one. So numbers, as I demonstrated on the other side. Okay, using numbers, 80 kilometers per hour, and then the last one, numbers and symbols. So I'll just use kilometers per hour. They're all examples of ways you can use it. All right. So again, anytime you see the word per. So since speed is one of the most common unit rates, so if you look at the speed or the signs on the road for how fast you're going, it's a unit rate posting, okay? We're going to take a moment to examine that. So let's say it takes 15 minutes to drive 20 kilometers. What is the unit rate? Okay, well, you know your unit rate is your speed, that's in kilometers, sorry. Having a challenging day today. So distance. So distance, because it's kilometers and over time. All right. So there's your unit rate, kilometers per hour. Okay. So a unit rate tells you how many kilometers you can drive in 1 hour. So they're telling us that we can drive, with this example right here, 20 kilometers in 15 minutes. Now, we never see kilometers per minute on the side of the road, so we're going to have to switch that to 20 kilometers per, now 15 minutes, that is a quarter of an hour, so 0.25 hours. All right. It has to be per 1 hour, so per 1 hour. So if you want that to be in that form of 1 hour, we need to figure out, I'm taking some extra steps here. So what is the ratio to get from 0.25 to 1 hour? Well, we have to multiply 4 quarters would give me a whole. So that means if I multiply by 4, I get 80 kilometers in 1 hour. So therefore, I can drive 80 kilometers. That'll get you to probably London from where we are, 80 kilometers in 1 hour. Okay, so that is what a unit rate is. It's measuring how much you get for one of another item. Okay, kilometers per hour, cost per gram of chocolate. Okay, so a couple of examples. $6 for 12 cans of pop. All right, so you can do this 2 different ways. Think of yourself, what would you sooner want to know? The cost per can of pop or the number of cans you can get for $1. Okay, most people want to know how much does it cost for a can of pop. So that means it's cost, which is your dollars, over cans. So that would mean we'd have 6 over 12. So divide that. That means you are paying. All right, you want to get the bottom down to 1. So we're going to divide by 12, divide by 12. The bottom becomes 1 can, and on top it becomes 0.5. So therefore, 50 cents a can. All right. Now you're given kilometers and hours. Well, we know that we want our distance in kilometers over time, our hours. So 650 kilometers in 7 hours. Well, I know I want my ratio to be 1 hour. So that would mean that I had to divide by 7. So that means I also have to divide the top by 7 in this case. So 650 divided by 7 is about 93 kilometers per hour. So on that particular drive, you averaged, 93 kilometers per hour. Example 2. At Walmart, you can buy a case of 12 cans of Coke for $6.99. So as above, we said we want cost per can. So $6.99 for 12 cans. So that would translate for 1 can. We're going to have to divide by 12. So whatever we do the bottom, we've got to do the top. So it's $6.99. 6.99, divide that by 12. We are paying 0.58 cents or 58 cents a can. Or they're also offering a deal on 24 cans. So same thing, cost over cans. So this time it's $14.88 for 24 cans. All right, so which is the better deal? Well, we need to get it down to how much does it cost per can. So we divide by 24, divide by 24, 14.88, divide that by 24, and we get 62 cents. Okay, so which is the better deal? So the question becomes, what do you want to pay? Do you want to pay 58 cents a can, or do you want to pay 62 cents a can? So therefore, the case of 12 is better. So you got to be careful. So sometimes grocery stores and stores like Walmart try to move stuff that they have too much of. So in this case, they must have a lot of 24 cans or full cases of pop. So what they'll do is they'll pretend it's on sale, but it still costs you more money to purchase. So it's always important. And they have these stickers. If you look closely at the sticker, it will say $6.99. But if you look really, really close, it will say down here 0.58 per, well, it won't say can, it will be per milliliter, but it will show you the unit rate. Okay, by law, stores have to put that in the bottom corner, so you don't have to do the calculator. You're not going to pull the calculator out, but you have to be aware that on each price tag, and take a look the next time you're in a grocery store, they have to post the unit rate, and it is in the bottom left corner, all right, always. So on to my final example here. There's 2 EQAO style questions. A carton that holds 500 milliliters of chocolate milk costs $2.29. Which of the following containers has a lower cost per milliliter? So basically, you need to go through and you have to calculate all these unit rates, all right? So here we would have 229 over 500. So to get it down to 1 milliliter, I'm going to have to divide by 500, divide by 500. So 229, divide that by 500. Gives me a funny decimal. So let's go to cents. Let's go to, instead of 229, let's do it as 229 cents. 229 divided by 500. So this is 0.4458. That's in cents per milliliter. Now we have to do that with each one. So 129 divided by 250. So you can see that we're just doing a straight division here. Divide by 250. So 0.516. So that one is more. So that's not the answer. 309 divided by 700. So now we're taking the cost and dividing it by the milliliters. 0.44. So there it is right there. So that is the correct answer. As soon as you get one that works, you can check the rest. All right, but that will get you your answer. And the final one. The Lucas family is going on a trip to Manitoba and back. It's 1,624 kilometers from home to Manitoba. Determine the total cost of gas for the Lucas family's trip to Manitoba and back if it costs 83 cents a liter and the car uses 9.7 liters per 100 kilometers. Tricky question. So step one is find gas used. That's step one. All right. So 9.7 liters for every 100 kilometers. Well, they know they're going 1,624 kilometers. So we got to figure out how many liters. So we got to figure out what the multiplier is. And just make some room here. So we know that 100y equals 1,624. I'm going to divide both sides by 100. Inverse operation. So y would equal 16.24 as your multiplier. So I'm going to multiply by 16.24, multiply by 16.24, so 9.7 times 16.24, so therefore 157.5 liters one way. So that means you got to go there and back, so we got to double that. So total trip is 315 liters. All right, now we're on to step two, cost. So we know it's 83 cents. So what happens if we do it as dollars? $0.83 for every 1 liter. Well, we know we're using 315 liters. So what is the cost going to be? This one's a nice one because 1 times 315 tells us that, times 315. So if we do our multiplication, times 0.83, we end up with 261.5. So therefore, the total cost of gas for this trip is $261.50. All right. So again, if you have any questions, anything that you need explained further, make sure you ask the teacher for help and get a better explanation if this isn't helping you. So take a look at the homework, see how it goes, and we'll see you in the next video.